Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back with our Final Fantasy Commander deck profile. We have Lightning, Army of One, which has First Strike, Trample, Lifelink, and makes it so that if Lightning, Army of One deals damage to our opponent, we get to deal double damage with everything else that deals damage for the rest of the turn. So, since it has First Strike, it'll always deal the damage first, making it so that anything else that's swinging in the same time it's swinging in, as long as they don't also have First Strike, the damage that they deal will be doubled. We have plenty of things in here that also give it double strike, so it can double its own damage. Plenty of things that'll give it extra combats in order to make sure we have extra turns to deal extra damage. Not extra turns, extra combats to deal extra damage. Things that'll give us haste so that it could swing in the turn it comes in. And then on top of all that, we have plenty of things that'll double damage, triple damage, because 2 times 2 is 4 instead of just times 2. So making us double our doubling rather than, just adding 2 on top of it. Something else to keep in mind with that is that we do also have things that'll just deal half damage to our opponent, which will double that, giving it that plenty of damage to deal to them. We are also in Boros, so we are running plenty of things that'll make it so that our opponent can't play during our turn to stop us from getting countered, so that we can make sure that we can actually get our gameplay off on that. But that's the general overview of the deck. Let's get into the cards that are in here. As always, Arcane Signet's the starting card, because we like mana. Brotherhood Regalia, in order to make sure Lightning could deal a damage, because it does need to deal the damage to our opponent first, in order to have that ability happen. Sorry, this makes it unblockable. Buster Sword, in order to make sure we could cheat a couple spells out of our hand, giving our creature +3/+2, along with anytime it deals damage, making sure we could get a spell out of our hand that cost less than the damage that was dealt. Or, we don't necessarily have to equip it onto Lightning. We could equip it onto something that doesn't have First Strike, that's attacking after Lightning, making sure that we can get that double the casting cost. Felwar Stone for that mana. Leyline Axe, giving our creatures that double strike and trample, along with a little bit of +1/+1. But like I said, double strike's really good in this deck because deals damage first, doubles the damage, and then that's essentially quadruple the damage because there's nothing on here that says it only happens once, right? Yep, just double it. So that's always nice to see. Lightning Grease, because it needs to attack the first time it comes down, because otherwise it's going to get removed at some point. Mind Stone for that mana. Ruby Medallion, because we run plenty of Rend spells in here, so we may as well have a way to cast them for cheaper. Soul Ring, in order to get that extra mana. Swiftfoot Boots, in order to make sure your attack turn comes down. Like I said, plenty of haste enablers, even Rising of the Dead we run in this deck. Sword of the Animus, we're in Boros, we don't have many ways to ramp, so let's use Sword of the Animus in order to make sure we can do that, along with dealing a little bit of extra damage with that +1/+1, which, +1/+1, double strike, +2/+2, City on Fire, +6/+6, Fiery Emancipation, +18/+18. So we're at a good point at that point. It's almost full. Well, actually, no, with the 3 base power, that's commander damage there for you. Talisman of Conviction for that extra mana. Reaver Cleaver, since we're dealing double damage, we don't necessarily have to equip it onto Lightning, but we could equip it onto one of our other creatures, get plenty of treasure tokens. Dot Vessel for that no maximum hand size and just a free mana. And then Whisper Silk Cloak in order to make our creature unblockable so that we can get that ability off. Then for our creatures, we run Anger for that haste enabler. Aurelia, Law Above, in order to make so that we could get a little bit of draw power along with burning our opponents. And so whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, it deals that damage. So, we don't necessarily have to swing in with all our stuff our first combat, but if we do that the second combat, after Lightning already had, what's it called, double strike on it, that's 12 damage right there for you, to each opponent. Aurelia the War Leader, for that extra combat, like I said, since we're attacking with Lightning, we may as well get that extra combat in order to get that double damage, which will turn into quadruple damage. Bastion Protector, like I said, people are going to want to try to remove Lightning, so we're going to have a couple ways to protect it. So we run Bastion Protector for that Indestructible. Blade Historian, attacking creatures you control have double strike, so they'll deal the normal damage with Lightning the first time around, but that second strike, they all get in for that double, including Lightning. Combat Celebrant, in order to get that extra combat. Extra combats are really good in this deck. Fire Main Commando, whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, draw a card. we're going to normally have more than 2 creatures. We have 22 creatures in the stack total. And then whenever another player attacks 2 or more creatures, they draw a card. If none of those creatures attacked you, a little bit of helping each other out, right? If a source would deal damage, next is Gisela, Blade of the Gold Knight. If a source of control would deal damage to a permanent and opponent controls, source deals double that damage to that player or permanent instead. If we're quadrupling, we may as well make it 8 times as much, which will make it 24 times as much, which will make it 72 times as much. Quick math there for you. We just, no, I missed one. Yeah, Giver of Runes. It's basically Mother of Runes, but, a little bit better, because it could also get protection from colorless. Grand Abolisher. We're going to make sure our opponent can't counter all our spells every time we try playing. This is also one of those ones where it does cost $16, so it is up in the air if you want to run that or not. Heartless Hitotsugu. Deal half damage to each of our opponents, rounded down. If we double that, I'm just saying, that's full damage there on board, if they have an even number of life points. Erois, God of Victory. Prevent all damage to be dealt to attacking creatures you control. We want to be able to swing in. What's easier to swing in than without being able to beat out damage to our own creatures? And then we have Karlach, Fury of Avernus. Like I said, we like extra combat spells, so we may as well run a creature that'll deal to keep on attacking in as well. Caddis, Emberclaw Familiar. Since it is only double damage to the opponent that we're attacking, we may as well have it so that we can attack everyone, essentially. Knight of White Orchid. Like I said, we're in Boros. We need a little bit of ramp. Lizard Blades. We like Double Strike. Give something Double Strike. Lorna the Third Path for that little bit of removal. Mother of Runes to make sure that Lightning could deal that damage to our opponent by being able to be unblocked by at least something that they control. Adrak, Luminarch, Marshall. Give all our creatures First Strike, which we don't always want necessarily, is the only thing on that. But giving them Double Strike, Hexproof, Haste, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Skulk, Trample, and Vigilance, that's always nice to see. Professional Facebreaker, give our creatures... If we had that with Adrak, it'll give our creatures Menace, making it so we could swing in. We just like creating treasure tokens. Twin Flame Tyrant, like I said, double damage. We like to do it, because we'll Double Strike with Lightning, giving us that quadruple. Giving us Twin Flame Tyrant, giving us that 8 times. There's another one that doubled up here somewhere. I forgot what its name was. Where was it? No, that's Double Strike one. I thought there was another one up here. Anyway, then we get the extra combat. That goes us up to 4. We're at 8, so we're at 16, then we'd be at 32. Then we triple that. That puts us at 96. We triple that again. We're at 288. And it can't be counted because we have Voice of Victory. I mean, they couldn't cast spells during our turn, right? Just, we had a magical day. And that all played out the way we thought it would. Or Aggravated Assault, which will just give us those extra combat spell steps in order to, potentially even have more than one extra combat step. If we have 10 mana on board in Boros. City on Fire, let's triple the damage. Like I said, we've been referencing these cards all day. Duelist Heritage, whenever one or more creatures you control attack, you may have targeted attacking creature you control gain Double Strike until end turn. Normally it's going to be Lightning. Flaming Fist, once again, give it that Double Strike. We have plenty of cards that'll do that. And then Rising of the Day for that haste. Let's go ahead and scroll on over to the second half of the deck. Yep, there we go. Okay, for our instance, we have a Chrome as well. Giving our creatures Flying, Vigilance, Double Strike, Indestructible, Protection from all colors, making sure that they can swing in, deal double that damage, gain double the life with a Lifelink ability that I forgot to mention when reading this off. And like I said, we just want ways to protect our commander, along with giving us plenty of ways to deal plenty of damage. Chaos Warp for that removal, Dawn's Truce for that protection, Flawless Maneuver for that protection, Generous Gift for the removal, Great Train Heist in order for that extra combat spell that we're going to want, Path to Exile for that removal, Psychotic Fury, give your creature Double Strike, I like to see it, and also a little bit of draw power while we're at it. Savage Beating for the extra combat phase, Sword Splash Shift for the removal, and Two-Handed Axe for that Double Strike. I mean, it could also just double power of a equipped creature while we're at it, because it is an adventure. So, what is our most powerful creature in this deck, actually? Let's take a look. We have, let's see, Anger has 2, 4, 3, 3, 2, 4, 4, 5. 5 might be the most. 7. Yeah, I think 7 is the biggest one. So, double 7 again with the lightning ability. That puts us at 28. Oh, almost scrolled too far. And, all our triplers, all that type of stuff. 288 times 7. Let's bring up a calculator real quick. What's 288 times 7? That would be 2016 damage on board, which, if someone's running life gain, we might need. And then for our sorceries, a blast missile for the board wipe, disrupt decorum. Yeah, our opponents might need to attack with their creatures if we're doing it already, so that we could swing in easier with our stuff. Farewell for that board wipe. Hold Rattle for 2 extra combat spells. So if we have double strike on lightning, that'll give us double, quadruple, 8 times, 16 times after the first combat. Then another combat, 32, 64 times. So, and then we have Relentless Assault for an extra combat phase, and Taunt from the Rampart in order to go to our opponent's creatures. And then, as always, I always like to say, if you don't want to spend $132 on lands, don't. You'd always spend them all on basics, using Evolving Wilds in order to get the ones that you want, or Terramorphic Expanse, just using, a couple basic, like, Battlefield Forge in order to get the ones that you want. But this is just like the optimized version I'm showing, so I just scrolled through it. But thanks so much for tuning into the channel. Hopefully you'll like, comment, subscribe so you can stay tuned there for the next one. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the channel.